Michael Roberts.
K-Rock, how you doing?
Welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you on the show. I mean, I've been trying to get you on for months.
I'm happy to be here.
Because you're a hardworking guy, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You're never available.
We've been crushing it lately. We've been really hitting the scene pretty hard.
So, to let our viewers know, you're the keyboard player and second guitarist, right?
That's correct. Rhythm guitarist.
And singer.
I sing a little, yeah.
With 22N, one of the most popular bands, not just in the area, but probably in the state of Florida.
Oh, man.
And
thank you for saying that.
love 22N. You guys are one of my favorite bands.
Thank you.
Even before I met you, I think I met David Lay first. And this is years ago, man.
Yeah.
And he was such a nice guy. He showed me, behind the scenes, and you guys always had the best gear, and you put on the best shows. And to this day, man, we watch you guys and we're like, wow, man, 22N does it right.
We're blessed with a lot of stuff. I mean, we've got a great crew, we've got great equipment, and the musicians. I'm so blessed to be around all these guys, play music with them.
But you're aware that you're in one of the better bands, right? Like when you're performing, you're like, damn, not only do you know you're good, but you can sense it. Your crowd, I mean, you sell out every freaking bar you play in.
It happens. I mean, it definitely happens, and it's fun to just see so many friendly faces repeat and show up every time. We have a lot of dedicated diehards that come to all of them. When we have a bigger show outdoors, it usually generates some new shirts in the crowd the next time. When we have the merch table out, and it's really a great thing, man. I love it. I've been in the thing for 7 years now. I'm going on 8, actually.
So you've been with 22N for 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah, that's
almost.
Fantastic.
Kristen also has been with us for quite a while. We've had some lineup changes, but Kristen, David, and I have been in our production manager.
You guys are the core.
We have been in it the longest.
And I think of you as the special sauce or the secret weapon, because not only do you play keyboards and sing, but then you play guitar. Then sometimes you'll just be the front person, right? And you'll sing American Girl, and you whip the crowd up into a frenzy, and you get them all fired up. And you're a front man, like.
I enjoy being up front.
Have you ever had your own band or ever been a front man?
I had some bands. I have fronted one band. It was back in the 90s. The first band I was ever in was a heavier band of metal back in I guess 92 to 94. It was a band called Bad Omen with some buddies from high school, and we did all of our own originals. We had a little 5-song EP out, and back then 98 Rock used to have a thing on Sunday nights where they would showcase some local bands.
No kidding.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
DJ back then was his name was Jeff Zinda. And we were fortunate enough to be showcased on that thing every Sunday for a while. But, originals don't pay. They didn't pay back then. It's hard to gain any kind of traction, and especially a bunch of young 20-year-olds. I mean, we did the best we could, but people, decided they needed to eat.
Are those high school buddies?
High school buddies,
so do you still stay in touch with them?
Oh, absolutely. They were all in my wedding. I mean,
that's awesome. Yeah,
absolutely. The guitar player hung in there with me longer than anybody else, and we formed another band called Kretcher King. I want to say 95, we started recording another EP. And that was when cassette tapes switched over to CD technology. I mean, that's how long how old I am. We had our first EP was a cassette tape. The second one was a CD. And that's when I switched to, we couldn't get anybody else to play in an original band. So I dropped the keyboard for a while, and being a self-taught guitar player, I just picked up a bass guitar. I can't play like you. I can't, use fingers. I could pick all day long, and there's nothing cool about that. But I was able to, hold my own and not embarrass us anyways. But I was using a pick, and that music at that time was kind of like a Nirvana type thing. And if, I could scream all day long. I'm not the best singer in the world, but I can hold a tune. So anyways, it worked out for a while doing that. But then I stepped out of the thing. And feel free to stop me anytime. I'll just keep talking until you ask something.
No. This is perfect because I'm actually thinking about picking up my laundry later and what I'm going to buy, what I'm going to eat for dinner tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
The more you talk. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's what the band does too. You should see our text feed. They're like, Michael, we got is there a question here?
No, I'm teasing you.
No, I know.
Listen, man, you're great. Listen, first of all, I want to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
It's belated.
Yeah, right? It's only by a couple of days.
Yeah, and you're going to be you don't know this yet, but you're getting blue magic strings delivered to you via
from
Joey
Fingers. Right, exactly. And nobody ever knew he was playing those strings. I mean, we never heard about him.
Well, he's got me into him as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But I got to be honest with you. I mean, this is like a plug, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't intend it to be, but they are great strings, and I seem to always, never go out of tune, and
really?
everything's sharp and bright. I mean, they're fantastic.
He believes in them, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear, man.
Talk about like when you were real little, man. Like, how did you get into music, man? Like, what did your mother make you take piano lessons? Like, how did you get into it?
It's funny you said that because that's exactly how it started. She was a pianist as a young girl, and then dropped it. But we always had a piano in the house. I was like 4 or 5 years old, and I would hear her play Beethoven's Fury Lise, which is the.
Sure.
I mean, you can't miss the first 2 notes of that song. At some point, I don't know the whole story, but at some point I walked up to the piano, which was up to here on me when I stood up to it, and I tried to find the 2 notes, and I found them. And so,
and how old were you, do you think, at that point?
4.5, 5.
So this is my point. I think really good musicians are born. You had it in you, man.
Perhaps
you know
that's
what I'm saying.
Perhaps
you had that gene. You had a gene. There was something that was about you that you were able to figure that out.
Well, when I did figure those notes out, much like a lot of other people figure out chopsticks, it was the very same type thing: 2 fingertips and blip blip blip. I guess my dad came home from work one day and she said, he might have something here. So they put me in lessons at 5 years old, and of course I was not ready at that time in my development to understand what I was being taught. So the teacher said, he's got something there for sure, and he's got the desire for it, but he just doesn't understand anything I'm teaching him. So they pulled me back out of it. And after I got into kindergarten and in first grade and got myself kind of learning like kids do, let's give this another shot. And they put me into classical piano lessons, traditional lessons. And I stayed in that until I graduated high school with a little shout out to my piano teacher, Barbara Friedman, who will probably be watching this at some point. She was absolutely amazing. And she doesn't just teach you the piano and all the everything with it. She makes you perform.
So classical music.
Classical.
But were you doing things like school plays, man? Were you doing other forms of music
no,
during high school?
Everybody would ask me to play like in the cafeteria at my school growing up. I went through like a K through 8 kind of a school and began a private Catholic school, believe it or not. And there was a piano down in the cafeteria. Michael, play this, play that. You know what I mean? So I got a little notoriety that with some street cred at a Catholic private school doing that. And
so how like a lot of bands like Kiss is known for like saying they watched the Beatles on Ed Sullivan and then something went off in their head.
Yeah.
And they immediately had to go pick up a guitar and they had to learn how to play. Mm-hmm. And what was the thing for you? Like what made you realize now? Okay, I want to do rock and roll, or like. What inspired you to?
It was kind of the kids in the cafeteria. You know what I mean? You kind of look at that point. I was getting pretty good at the piano, but I had an ear for just picking up regular music without reading it or whatever as well. And so, don't stop believing. I mean, you've got to learn that. You know what I mean? As a piano player. But then, at some point too, I had uncles. I have extended family that were acoustic guitar players, and I always admired that too. And wanted to do that. I just thought they were so cool with that acoustic guitar. So I ended up with one.
Did you think that because you knew scales and you had theory, that it was easier for you to pick up a guitar?
I think the only thing that helped me with the guitar was just knowing the chords. I didn't, the finger positions and everything had to be learned just like anything else. I didn't have any books to learn. That one was solely just kind of a self-taught. Listen to it. Does this sound right? And is this the right finger position that I've seen others do at the time? You didn't have YouTube tutorials back then. You know what I mean? So
is it safe to say that you have perfect pitch?
Not when I'm singing. I sing okay unless I've had a long weekend and then I'm a little pitchy. You know what I mean? But when it comes to, I think perfect pitches would be fair. I can tell a note you pretty much without having to tinker around and find it. David will often say, when we're putting a song together in the band, he'll what key is that in, or whatever. And so maybe I don't know, perfect pitch.
But that leads to my next question, because when 22N is working on new material, what's the process? do you come to the band and say, here are some ideas? And are you the guy that's supposed to not like, the chords and you tell the other guys what to do? Or
no, I
like,
mean,
what's your role in that process?
The guys everybody in the band is so talented. You don't have to be that guy. We have Rob Finan on guitar now. We've got Gary Sobel on bass guitar. Of course, Kristen Lee, everybody knows her, and David Lay on drums. And we'll talk about a song that we want to, the show's lacking this, the show needs this. We're doing this too much. We need more of this style of music. And we'll just say, so let's pick some songs. We pick them and we go home and learn them, just like I think a lot of bands do. They just, you have a job to do at home, put your homework in so you're not wasting time at rehearsal.
Yeah, everyone has to come prepared. Ready to know
exactly.
Their stuff.
So that's how we do it. But we do have to discuss key a lot because, Kristen sings a lot of things that were intended originally for a male vocalist.
That's right.
And so sometimes, the key, she's able to do all kinds of stuff. In many different keys, but sometimes a song just needs to be changed to something else.
And that's what makes a good band a great band is that they're conscious of how their singer's doing.
Right, exactly.
And they'll raise it up or down to accommodate her.
Oh, yeah.
Or him.
Yeah, that's right. So that's pretty much what we do, and we'll get together. We try to get 2 at the very least. We don't rehearse that often, and not nearly as often as we should, because we like to keep things fresh and change it up.
Well, I've noticed over the years, I've seen you a lot of times, and again, you're one of my favorite bands.
Thank you.
You have a large repertoire, and the cool thing about 22N, and this is Jacked Up, I've modeled myself after you guys. I mean, I'll be the first thing to tell you guys. Like,
oh man,
we said let's do some country. Let's do some popish stuff.
Yeah.
Let's do the classic rock. Let's do some headbangers.
Exactly.
Right? And something bluesy. So we bring all these elements in. So we're like, well, we could do a country set if we had to.
Yeah.
And we grew it to that point.
Wow.
And
yeah,
that was my
great.
new singer who starts.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
Congratulations. I'm really looking forward to not playing so that I can come see you play.
Saturday night, we're playing at Clancy's, right? Clancy's is one of our favorite places.
Very cool.
Cortez Road in Bradenton.
Yeah.
But the great thing about Sarah Santiago is that it was like, she came to us and it was like, I couldn't believe how great of a singer she is.
Fantastic.
And it was like someone up there is looking out for me, man, because I feel that the band is going in a certain direction. And like all of a sudden now she's a match and we're just going to take off.
Yeah.
Like a fire.
Well, I hope you do, man. You deserve that. And I can't wait to hear you guys.
Because you know what it's about at the end of the day? It's about a product. Like, you guys are a business, right? 22N is a business.
For sure.
Jacked Up is a business,
Yes.
And we have a product that we have to put out. And we have expectations from ourselves, from our fans.
Yeah.
You can't keep playing the same songs over and over again.
Yeah,
we got comfortable. I don't know if you guys do this either, and I'm going to ask you a lot of questions about that. But do you sometimes find yourself gravitating to the same opening songs?
How did I know that's exactly where you're going?
And I'm like,
no, we don't do that at all.
I told my guys, I'm like, look, why can't we just do something other than X's and O's? Like, why does it have to be X's and O's? Like, we're so comfortable there.
There was a time that we were opening, and we still do. It just depends on the venue. But like Wanted Dead or Alive, for example, it's very somber the way we do it. We start out with the low keyboard.
Nice intro.
You know what I mean? David starts hitting the kick bass.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then of course the famous guitar line comes in. We were doing that every show for a while, and it just didn't. And it went over well a lot. And it did create a really cool vibe, especially when we were indoors. The lights could control the house. I mean, it was dark. When you're outdoors, starting that way, it has less effect.
Sure.
But we would start with X's and O's. That's another song you mentioned that we do.
It's safe. It's easy.
It's fun. Kristen does it. She kills it. And I love that song, our version of it. The recorded version of that doesn't have a whole lot of, to my knowledge, keyboard in it. I throw a little B3 on that one. I get to, because I love a B3, but although our band, doesn't do a lot of B3 stuff, but I use a B3. I use a B3 patch.
Well, I think that's what makes you an excellent band, because you're a cover band, but yet you take things and you kind of make it your own.
We do.
That's key.
Yeah.
Because now 22N has their own kind of sound. Like, I noticed this with your old guitar player, Greg Zen.
Greg Zen.
Greg Zen was a freak of a player. He still is.
Incredible.
One of the and he would take these 22N songs that we loved on the radio, but he'd make them his own, man.
Yeah, he does.
His own style.
Yeah, he does. He has a style, no doubt about it.
Yeah. and a sound. So, I was sorry to hear that he left, but I understand your new guy's just as good, if not better, right?
Not better is it's a different kind of a thing. I mean, Greg is a technically just unbelievable, technically just so gifted at what he does. He can play so fast and so clean. Robbie has a different style altogether. He bends a note so beautifully. He'll bend the hell out of it until he almost breaks the damn string and, does the classic lean back and looks at the, I mean, he's really great.
I hope he's using blue magic strings.
Another
endorsement.
That's all we use. But he's also, and I mean, everybody in the band actually, they're really talented. Robbie what's funny is guitar is like not his first instrument. He is a bass player, I think, first and foremost. He's been a bass player in multiple bands. He's a great singer. He's a phenomenal keyboard player. He plays harmonica.
He's one of those guys.
Yeah, I haven't heard him play a lot of harmonica, but I know that he's better than I am, and I'm the only one right now playing harmonica in the band, just because of the song.
Well, the one thing I've learned is that it's all about role players, right?
Yeah,
and it's about personalities. So I've learned over the years that when you put together a band of 4, 5, 6 people, everyone has to mesh, and their personalities have to work.
Yeah, for sure.
So that comes before talent.
Yeah.
In the old days, it was all about talent, but I played with talented guys that were idiots or they were arrogant.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I want to play with someone who's cool, who I get along with and I want to hang with. So that's important because it's a family, right?
Absolutely. Like I said, David, Kristen, and I go way, way back now that I'm pushing 8 years in the thing. Kristen joined, I think, 4 or 5 months after I did. But Rob and Gary, bass and guitars, accordingly, they go way back doing music together. And they do duos together still.
So isn't it funny how you needed a new bass player and you got a great guy? Needed a new guitar player, you got a great guy.
Absolutely.
It's like, meanwhile, other bands are like scratching their head saying, how the hell, like it's hard to find good musicians. Man.
It is. I should mention too that Robbie plays sax. Like he's badass.
Do you have any songs that he's going to play on?
We've tinkered around at rehearsal, but a little back and forth banter that we'd like to put into the show. We have some ideas for that too, where he could really throw down and just, that's another side of 22 in that nobody has seen, and that I would love to see us head in that direction. I mean, it would be really fun and open up doors and too. So I don't know.
So when you do your set list, or I guess does Kristen put them together and say, here's going to be, so for an example, you might do a seafood festival set list, but then you might do the next night, you might do something that's completely different because you're playing indoors. So like, does she say, okay, guys, we're looking for your email, here's the new list, or they're already made and you just say, let's go with number A, or let's go with number C?
I think years ago when we had a different guitar player named Tim Jones, he was more of a structured kind of guy. He wanted things to be ahead of time. Let's get the set list up by Wednesday if possible. I'll start to prepare, that kind of a thing. Even if you play these songs 1,000 times, you still got to stay fresh on them. Especially
well, guitar players have their tunings and they have their pedals, so they more than other people. Like as a bass player, I'll just give me the damn song and I'll play it.
Right.
But so these guys they like to make sure that everything's synced up.
Exactly. But these days, Kristen just brings the sets with her. This is what we're playing.
Okay.
And we're all down with it.
Right, because you know the song. It's not like she's going to give you any curveballs.
No, not at all. And if there is going to be a curveball, we talk about it ahead of time. We have a text feed.
Now, does 22N actually make mistakes on stage and you're like, look at each other like, holy shit.
Hell
like,
yes.
Hope nobody heard that.
Yeah, we make a lot of them. I mean, the lights and screens, mask some of it. People look at that. I mean, they didn't hear this, you know what I mean? But, David, he'll goof up and drop a stick every once in a while. What drummer doesn't? I've made stupid mistakes and everybody you know what I mean? The guitar player, Robbie, is new to the band. So, and we really didn't even have a whole lot of time to rehearse with Robbie. We auditioned for a while. And we went right into playing. I mean,
so think about this guy. He starts his first gig. Imagine how stressed out he must have been.
I'm sure he was. Yeah, I'm sure he was. I would have been. I am a creature of habit, and when I joined the band, I wasn't even looking for a band, so it just kind of fell in my lap. I mean, I auditioned for it, but there's a funny little story to it. I don't want to overtalk if you have questions, but. We mentioned the bands I was in earlier on as, in my early 20s. Well, we could never make a go of either of those bands. We had some potential.
Is that because they were originals and cover seems to play better here because of the tourists?
It pays better, and we were young and stupid, and we just couldn't keep them together. People just had to get their lives together. The guitar player and I hung in there together the longest from high school, '96. We did have a couple of breaks along the way. Example, my first band ever, we played for 3 years before we got the first break. Jakey Lee, Ozzy Osbourne's Jakey Lee, he went on to do Badlands after that. That band broke up, and then he put a band together after a few years off. He put a band together called Wicked Alliance. And we were paying our dues on Tuesday nights to nobody, sweeping up the floors. I mean, that's who we were playing to. We got a couple of good crowds, and we started to earn our Friday nights and our Saturday nights. All right, we'll give you a Friday night, And back then, original bands would do, there'd be multiple bands. There was not one band all night. You don't have that many originals, so they would bring in 2-3 bands sometimes. And that's usually how we did it. We either opened or we headlined or whatever. Jakey Lee's band, Wicked Alliance, was coming through town, and they were just utilizing whatever good local talent they could get as an opening act. We were able to open for them in '94 at the Ritz Theater, which was a pretty big crowd for us. There was 500, I would say 500, and then things opened up. The
Ritz in
Ybor City.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yep, that's
Is it still open?
Yes, it is. It changed to I think a while back it became like the Masquerade. I think it's Ybor. It's Ybor.
But they don't really do rock in there anymore.
I mean,
it's
the
more
Ritz,
like house techno stuff.
Yeah.
I saw Michael Schenker there.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
I saw Foo Fighters right after their first album there. Talked to Dave Grohl in the street.
Oh my God!
I
love the Foo Fighters, man.
Yeah, we asked him if he wanted tickets, and he said, "No, I already got some." We were in the street.
He's the man, dude.
He was looking for a Cuban sandwich.
No
he came
shit.
out the front. No shit. He came out the front. We're standing in line, and we told him where the Cubans were at. And he went to go get a Cuban sandwich, and we joked with him.
Yeah, when in Rome, you got to eat the Cuban food. Right?
Exactly, man. Yeah, but that happened, and I don't even know where I was going with that other than to say that the music, the original stuff just didn't pay off. It didn't pay us enough to keep us in it. People got day jobs and went to school and graduated and stuff like that, and God bless them. But I was kind of heartbroken when the last one fell apart because I would have gone, I was the last one to
you put your heart and soul into it. Man.
Absolutely. And I would have continued to wreck my life to make those bands work. And so I just kind of got on with my life too, got busy with a business, and I took like a 20-year hiatus. I'm getting to how I joined 22N here with this. For 20 years, I didn't play a thing live. Technology for home recording started to come up a little bit. And I still got my musical fix that way, writing and recording. I love to write music. I love to record it. And so I recorded a lot of songs at home. Never released anything, of course, but half of it sucks. But some of it had potential. But I had a lot of fun, and I've got whatever inner peace I needed to play music. It came in the form of recording. I didn't need, per se, to play live. But 20 years of that, I started to really miss it. So I called a buddy of mine. He's a drummer here. He's done a lot of work with. He was an Engine Zero's drummer. His name's Scott Johnson. Went to the same high school I did. I live north of Tampa, pretty far north of here. But he worked in Nashville for a while. He's a phenomenal drummer. We started spinning the idea around, why don't we put a band together ourselves, And I had a music studio in the backyard, and we got a band together. We got some friends that he knew, mutual friends, and we started to put some music together. Joey Fingers comes into this story. 22N's guitar play. Initially, 22N was a 2-guitar band, and they never had a guitar keyboard.
Now, was 22N always David Lay's baby? Like that was his.
Yes, it was.
He created the name. So it's his okay.
Yes, he did. Gotcha. The name, the inside joke, really, and it's the fact. It's a factual thing of how the name came about.
Why don't you tell our viewers about that?
The original bass player, Jeff Hustetler, and David are great friends. They decided that we want to play music, and David picked up drums. Jeff bought a bass guitar, and they maybe sucked in the beginning, but they started to get pretty good. And they got a singer, got a couple of guitar players. A year or two later, they were playing some venues and making some traction, gaining some traction around out of the Lakeland area at the time. And they started gaining enough ground that they were playing often enough that one of their guitar players at the time, and he's great, Glenn Randall, he was a fantastic guitar player. He was from the Orlando area, and everything 22N does is on the West Central Coast, so that was a hell of a drive for him, kind of like the drive I have, but but he just couldn't do it anymore. And he gave him plenty of notice and said, look, guys, I just don't think I can keep doing this. And I think David and Jeff and whatever members in the band at the time were there. Tim Jones was there. There was a different singer at the time. Why don't we try putting a keyboardist in instead of a second guitar player? And they posted they did a post on Facebook. Well, my drummer, keep in mind, I'm at home in my backyard putting a band together myself. I wasn't really looking for a band. I was just looking to stay small, just start playing with some buddies like poker night. You know what I mean? And Joey Fingers was friends with those guys, and he shared their post on Facebook. My drummer saw it. He didn't see the original post from David Lay, but he saw that post that Joey shared. And he came to me one day when we were kind of tooling around with music and said, I almost hate to tell you this. And I said, what? And he said, there's this really, this band is gaining some popularity. They're looking for a keyboard player. And I can put you together with the guy. He gave me Joey's number. I didn't know Joey at the time. I reached out to Joey. Joey reached out to David. David reached out to me, offered me an audition. And I got the part,
All right, so let's talk about that first meeting with David. So did he go over his studio? He come over your studio? Like, how did you guys do that?
Yeah, I went over to his. He had a studio above his garage in Lakeland at his home, and they held auditions that night, and we talked a little bit about what the band was doing, the direction he'd like to see it go, and I guess he was feeling me out a little bit too, and I guess the running story is pretty much I feel blessed to say this and not arrogant at all about it. Really, truly blessed. But I walked in the room and we played a couple of songs, but the decision was made before I ever knew about it. It was made right away.
Cool.
We gelled.
Yeah.
I brought background vocals to the thing that at the time weren't necessarily there.
Right.
And it just kind of.
When you know, you know.
Exactly.
It was the vibe. It was the personality. Like sometimes you meet somebody like, I wish they're good because they're so cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And we've been going 150 miles an hour ever since, Well,
David, what I love about David, besides being a great guy and a great drummer, is that he had a vision, man. He knows exactly what he's doing.
The man,
you know what I'm saying? Like he's a step ahead.
The
of
man has
else.
visions in a lot of different areas. If I could elaborate on that, the guy. We're playing shows, and this is full circle. It's come full circle. It used to be, people mention our production. We've got LED screens behind us. We've got lights.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of our show. And a shout out to the crew, by the way, who makes that happen.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that later.
Good. Okay. Well, it used to be that people would say, man, you guys have great production. Would you ever do that? Consider doing that for somebody else. So they'd call David. Our business cards are in the tip jar, and David would it kind of sparked an idea in him, and so he started a production company on the side from, as a subsidiary to the band itself, and our shows would kind of feed that. He would start getting this production job and this production job. Well, he being business, he's a business savvy guy, and he put that to work, and he started doing that and created another company. Bought more equipment and let the equipment pay for itself. Bought some more. He's got several production companies now. Kristen has a production company, and I understand they're going to be here at some point.
In a couple of weeks, I think they're coming in. Yeah.
Absolutely. So they'll definitely be able to elaborate on all of that. I don't know all the details of it. That's out of my wheelhouse. I know what goes on.
So there's a tie-in with Bill Kenny of Paragon Seafood Festivals, because we love playing the seafood festivals, and we got a couple this year.
Yeah.
I know you play pretty much every one.
Absolutely.
But now it's called Paragon Sound, right? So there's a collaboration between those two cats, right?
Yeah, Paragon Productions, I believe, and he is in the Paragon Festivals. He's Paragon Festivals.
No, but I'm saying, is David Lay doing sound for the Paragon Festivals?
The festivals, yeah, that whole stage.
Like Ray?
Ray and
who's
Paul.
Excellent, by the way.
And so is Paul, who assists her. All that's David's production company, David and Kristen's. Kristen owns the stage.
Yeah, because the stage is fantastic. The sound is fantastic.
Yeah.
Every time we go there, we sound excellent. We loved playing on that stage.
Yeah, Ray's so good that she'll remember what you played, what your levels were. She saves it.
You're right.
You know what I mean? So the next time you go back, she makes it so
smart.
painless.
Yeah,
you can go up. And we have a double whammy with production, because when we play a 22-inch show, our production manager, sound engineer, James Madden, is phenomenal.
I met James once, yeah.
James is so good.
Yeah.
And he was at the audition when I showed up.
He's like, hire that guy.
In fact, I think it was him that kind of, there was some texting going on while we were playing music. You know, he was letting David know, I think this is the guy. I'm pretty sure it was James that did that initially. So yeah, they've got it going on when it comes to production and everything. David's business savvy and Kristen's too, really, for that matter.
So the band got better and better and better, more and more experience, right?
Yeah.
A couple players changed. You guys are now doing big shows. You're in demand. You're well booked out in advance. Like there's probably not an open Saturday night anywhere on your calendar.
No.
You guys are full. Now I know you took some time off for Kristen's
Yes,
medical stuff. Do you take like a break in the summer? Do you guys get to go on vacation? Like how does that work?
Not really. I mean, we haven't taken too many breaks. We'll take a few. You know, if I want to, I need to go see family. You know, I put it in on the calendar, but it has to be done pretty well in advance.
Because we get subs. Jacked up, we can get subs. Like I'm going to my high school reunion, so like I already got a sub bass player.
Yeah.
But I've never seen somebody sub for you. Like you can't be subbed. Like you're
only
like,
while we were auditioning guitar players did we have some subs. We've never, if we aren't going to be together for something, we just prefer to cancel the show.
Okay.
We don't cancel very many, but we are family enough to just, you know what, we don't need it that bad. Let's just take let's take the day off. And she, you know, and Kristen's surgery, she's been incredible. I won't elaborate too much on it. There's not a whole lot to say other than she had parathyroid surgery. And that involves a lot of things. Had absolutely nothing to do with her voice whatsoever, but it affected her voice. She had swelling as a result of the work that the doctors did while they were in there, and it was just a necessary medical procedure that affected her voice temporarily. And none of us can believe how fast she's come back. She's not 100% yet, and she's very, you know, upset about that. But she's, you know, what she does, she's at 80%, in my opinion, if not 90% of what she was capable of prior to the surgery.
Hey, even her at 50% is better than most other singers.
I say the same, absolutely.
No, she's a class act, and I tell all my singers, and I've had a bunch, unfortunately. Hopefully, Sarah's the last. I said, go watch Kristen.
Yeah.
Watch the way she commands the stage.
Yeah.
Listen to her voice. Watch how she doesn't have any props, doesn't have to hide behind, you know, a tablet or a bunch of, you know, things.
Oh yeah, she's great, and honestly, so how do we get around this thing while she's recovering slowly but surely?
You have to sing more.
What's that? Well, I sing a little more. Gary sings, Robbie sings, but we just select our song. You know, the only thing she's not able to sing are the really high things that she used to do a long time ago. She could still get pretty damn high right now. She's just not as high in the upper register that she would prefer to be.
I bet you money that nobody would even know that. For an example, they're probably enjoying every single show.
I tell her the
over
same
these
thing.
last few months. Nobody has any idea.
Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, it's her instrument, so she wants to be back to where she was.
Course,
and I totally understand. Everybody understands that. So, but yeah, our show isn't lacking as a result of it. I don't think so at all.
So, like, describe a day. Like, let's say you have a show at night. What time do you roll in? When does your production company come in?
Yeah.
How many guys are involved? What's the process of them setting up the stage for you?
So
do they deliver your keyboards for you and it's already on stage?
Usually. If we are going to leave a venue, let's say, with the full production and go do a seafood festival the next day, I have to make sure I have my stuff because we're using, you know, the drum kit that's on stage there, you know. But yeah, they set up my stuff, and I'm blessed there. I mean, it wasn't like that in the beginning. In the beginning, we set up the lights, we set up the PA, we played the show, then we got our T-shirts back on, and we took all that stuff down and loaded the trailer. When the trailer was loaded, we all left.
Right.
But no, we have a great crew. We've got Stephanie Hoffman on. She's our lighting engineer, and she also handles all our social media. We've got some really good auxiliary crew members, Brian's, Steve, and we've got. Golly, there's a new guy, Tyler. We're just really some great people. They troubleshoot, their muscle, but can't say enough about the crew.
Yeah, because you guys are using pretty heavy duty trussing.
Oh yeah,
which is no joke.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
The PA itself is incredibly heavy. All the rolling components to that. But no, the way it kind of works is they show up a couple hours early. And immediately open the trailer and start loading in, and the we musicians kind of show up about an hour and a half early. We try to be there about an hour and a half beforehand.
Do you try to get in a quality sound check?
No, we don't really do that. We are so well oiled now because of James that we have all of our levels are pretty much preset. We use in-ear monitors on stage. So all
you
of
guys
us
are wireless across the board.
We are,
because there's not one wire anywhere on your stage, dude. It's crazy. It's clean as fuck.
No amplifiers. We all have modelers or whatever,
Right.
And they sound. And James has them tweaked really well to where it sounds great. And he can completely recall all those settings.
But you're controlling your own inner ear monitor.
Absolutely. Right. I have my iPhone is right on my keyboard.
What do you personally like to have in your ear? Like what do you,
everybody. I want to hear everybody.
Okay.
Kristen's totally different. She likes to hear herself more so that she can stay in tune.
See, and the drums, because the drums are so loud, you probably don't necessarily have to have drums.
The drums are loud as hell on stage. So
you probably take those out a little bit in the ear.
Yeah, she'll. I don't know what her mix is exactly, but I know that she kind of puts herself up in the mix and has to drop everybody back out. But I know Gary and I loved it. I think all of us, the rest of us, prefer to hear everything. I like to hear it as much as closely to a CD recording as possible. I want to hear the bass. I want to hear the background vocals. So it's all in there. And we have the ability to pan that stuff left and right, widen it up a little bit so it's not all cluttered in the center. And it's really cool, man. I mean, it's just that you literally have faders on your iPhone. Right by my keyboard, I'm able to turn the bass up, turn it down.
That's what we have. I have a tablet now for that stuff.
Yeah.
So how do you guys stay so, like, you're always smiling, you're always laughing, you're dancing? Is that like, do you have to train yourself for that?
No.
I mean, because aren't you ever get tired and you're like, you know what? But you always seem to be energetic. You always seem to be jumping around. Like you guys, it's always like the first time you're playing. Like
I'm kind of a smiley guy anyways.
Happy. Like everybody's so happy.
We are happy. We are happy. Absolutely. It's 100% genuine. And the crowd, and especially all the friendly faces that come every single show. We have people that come to every one of them. And it's always so, and they're equally enthusiastic every single time, like they've never seen us. And how can you not smile to that? I mean, it's just.
Plus the universal thing of music. And music played well. Everybody loves music. I mean, music moves you. And you're playing dance music. I mean, I know you got some slow songs, right, for that. But I always see, like, you're always a high energy band. You know?
We call ourselves the ultimate party band. That's kind of our little slogan. We want to keep you dancing, man. And we only want to slow you down to go buy some booze every once in a while.
Now, what do you guys do when a request comes up to the stage? I mean, because you got to be polite, right? Some person comes in and says, "Yeah, can I?" Maybe they have a $1 bill or they have a $100 bill, and they're like, "Can I hear Sweet Home Alabama?"
Yeah.
Everybody answers that question differently. So, what's your answer on that?
If we can do it, we can do it. But we do. Our show is we try to do the songs that we want to play. If it's on a list that's of songs that we play, usually we'll do it.
But they don't realize it's a production. Like, they don't realize that everything's synced up and you guys pre-planned it. They don't realize that.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
It's not as synced up as you would think.
Your normal fan is like, they just think they can talk to you in the middle of a song. Like, you ever get that?
No, they constantly talk to us during the song. Yeah. They don't realize we can't hear them or read lips either. Right. But we're pretty flexible. Our band is. We're not on running tracks. We play all the music, so we can stop a song in a heartbeat and do whatever. And in between, if somebody wants us to do something, we'll do it if we can.
So you're accommodating.
Yeah, and we'll flip. Whatever's on paper that we're supposed to play. Kristen's constantly calling out other songs.
Let's do
this
funny?
one instead. This one's working better. In
Florida, we have a lot of like bridal showers or like wedding parties or like bachelorette things.
Yeah.
So women will come in groups and they want to dance. And now the new thing is they take their cell phone and I guess they can type out like across the phone. So they can put the phone up and they can show like, "You shook me all night long,"
Oh yeah.
Or play ZZ Top.
Oh yeah. We'll get those little. We'll get those. We get the ticket with a $20, slip to the tip jar, and if we can do it, we'll do it.
Do you have your traditional birthday song that you can just go right into?
We just sing it. We just sing Happy Birthday.
Oh, you don't do it like that. Now.
No. I always wanted to do that. Actually, it's a damn good idea.
It's pretty simple. It's like basically.
No, but we just usually we'll just sing it, and a lot of us like to just pick up a harmony to sing along with Kristen. She starts it in whatever key she starts it in, and we get the crowd involved. We get the whole place singing it.
Sure.
And then one of us will harmonize the end for big pizzazz.
Right. What do you guys? How do you guys handle drinking? Are you guys allowed to have drinks? Do you prefer just not to? But like everyone's different. Like I stopped drinking, but there was a time when I enjoyed a beer or two before I got up on stage.
Yeah, there was a time a few of us enjoyed it too much, you know. So no, we don't do it during the shows. We have a cocktail or two afterwards for sure. I enjoy drinking, but it's just a business practice not to really do it, you know, for the show. We're in a position where, and it's not that we're greedy or any of this stuff when I say this, but we get paid a good deal of money to do this thing. And part of the reason is some of our popularity, yes, but we also have a lot of people to pay. I mean, if we could play for cheaper, we probably would, but we have usually 4 or 5 crew members to pay. There's 5 of us in the band, and we require a minimum to pay all those people.
Of course you do. And sometimes you can't play certain venues anymore because they just don't have the budget.
Exactly. And so it does eliminate a lot of our more northern shows that we'd like to see ourselves in Pasco County from time to time, northern Pinellas. And but the thing is, when you're receiving that amount of money, you have to be able to justify it, and you can't screw up and ruin that for the venue. You can't. Sure. You owe it to them to put on the best show you can.
Do you have a dress code as well?
Yeah, you know, you're looking at it really. You know what I mean?
Black is always my preferred color.
I love black. You know what I mean? But we actually do little themes. One day I wore like a cheetah print. I'm just Keith Richards did that a long time ago, the big cheetah coat, sure. You know, and I was like, I got to do that one day, you know, when I grow up.
Put some scarves on maybe?
Yeah, we do some
Elton
of that
John
stuff.
Glasses.
Yeah, if there's a theme in particular, you know, if Kristen's wearing blue, I try to match her a little bit, you know, and David does the same, and the guys, we all do. And if it's Valentine's Day, she's going to be in pink or red, you know, we make sure that we incorporate some red into the garb. You know,
do you guys ever consider doing a live feed? Have you ever thought about, you know, when Facebook Live was hot, everybody was doing it. You ever try to do like a live feed of your band?
I don't think we ever have tried it, but that would be really cool.
See, yeah. Everybody's worried about the quality because like we tried it one time and the quality was lousy. We're like, I know we're not that good, but we're not that bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't put that out. Like,
well, it's, yeah, that's true. It's, you know, I shouldn't say this because James has our sound dialed in pretty well. And so it sounds good, but there is a place in the venue, depending where you are on your cell phone. If you're a spectator filming the band, you can walk off to the side or go right in front of the subs, and it sounds like complete ass. For
and then sometimes they'll post these, and then you have to.
There you go. This is how this band. Yeah, what's all the hype about?
Right,
you know, but if you get 50 yards back, right in between the front of house, I mean, it sounds spectacular. You know, so yeah, I would want. I know personally, I don't run the band, but if I were running the band, I would not want to do a whole lot of live stuff like that, where some of your weak shit, comes out. I would want to have a more control over that.
So does David and Kristen do the bookings?
Yeah,
they keep a calendar and they're like on the phones.
Yeah,
because you're in demand. So like, I bet you like your New Year's Eves are probably filled for the next couple of years. I would assume. Like.
Yeah, they pretty much are.
Because I know you were doing downtown Sarasota for a while. Now you did TTs or you did you did Big Top for New Year's Eve.
Yeah, actually we did. We just did where the Bradenton Regatta was. Well, no, that was New Year's, or was that? That was 4th of July, or was it? It was New Year's. It was. Yeah, I'm kind of brain
because you guys are involved. With City of Bradenton. You do like
we did the pineapple drop.
Sarasota,
yeah, we did the pineapple drop, and that was insane. I mean, there was like 35,000 people down there. Not for maybe on our street there was 10 or 15,000, but the band on the other street had 10,000. I mean, it was insanity, and it was a lot of fun too. But
does David do the sound for that too?
Oh yeah, the stage and all that.
So he's got that kind of quality. Like, I mean, that's a lot of crowd. That's a lot of subs, man.
Yeah, the production companies are rocking and rolling now. I actually started that earlier and I never finished that point. Earlier on, I was talking about how the band used to kind of feed the production. The production was getting gigs because of the gigs that we were doing. It was kind of showing what David's equipment and the right people behind it can do. Now the production company's taking out. I mean, we're doing the seafood festivals. They're doing, First Fridays. They're doing all this stuff. But you have multiple.
You could do multiple things. So, for example, you could be doing yourself while you have a crew over here doing this other band.
Absolutely.
In another city.
And we did last weekend. They ran the sound for the Bradenton Regatta, and the entire bridge going over the water had just a whole bunch of equipment out there. We could hear it from and we played the thing.
No kidding.
So we had our whole different stage over there, also owned by David's production company. So it was David and Kristen's really. So yeah, it was really cool. We're able to do a bunch of stuff. It's getting people to operate it all. You know what I mean? David's working his tail off too,
right.
And James, poor guy, is having to keep up with all this sound, and he doesn't get any time off. I mean,
so like if you go to Twisted Fork and they have a house sound guy, Nate.
Yeah.
Does James take over, or does he sit next to Nate, or how's that relationship?
Not that we're stuck up, but we prefer to have our own guy.
Okay. When you talk to the venue and you book it, you make it clear at that point, hey, we like to do our own sound.
Right. Like OCC will use their equipment there up in Clearwater, but we'll use their equipment, but James runs the sound. You know what I mean?
Sure. He's
got to be the man behind the iPad. You know?
We love playing the Twisted Fork. First of all, we
love it.
Bert and Marcus are two great guys.
Oh yeah,
the food is delicious.
Yeah,
they always have good quality bands. The sound system is great. They could bring in some of the big national or regional acts. Touring a lot of tribute bands.
Oh yeah,
we had a chance to open up for 2 tributes. We opened up for a Bon Jovi tribute and an Aerosmith tribute.
How about
it was so much fun.
I bet it was
so much fun.
I bet that
because people come out and go gaga. I mean, they go nuts. The VIP was sold out.
Yeah,
and everybody's drinking and dancing. And so as a warm up band, we had the luxury of their audience. So like, I told my camera lady, I'm like, listen, get behind me and take pictures going like. So it looked like I'm up there like this.
Yeah.
It looks like that was my crowd.
Yeah.
I'm like, no one's ever going to know.
Yeah. I've taken quite a few of those pictures myself, like at the Pineapple Drop. How could you not turn your back to the crowd and get a selfie with them? That was incredible. But Twisted Fork's cool, man. I like that big stage. I love the big stages. You can get around, move around a lot more. Plus, I'm remote. I'm not behind an SM58 all night. I switch from keyboards to rhythm guitar when I do my songs to sing. So I keep a headset on. It's wireless, so I can walk around anywhere. And still.
So you guys have played everywhere around here.
We have.
Is there any plans for you guys to travel, take the show on the road?
We're mulling around a lot of ideas about the future.
I know you did a Key West thing.
Yeah, we did.
Jacked Up would love to try that, just to get it, just say we did it.
Yeah.
Do a residency. What is it, 6 nights?
It was 7, yeah.
And I'm sure the lead singer probably is hoarse after that. I mean,
it's not
easy. Right?
All of you. And I mean, we don't drink on stage, but we drink, So, I mean, after those shows, we would hang out and just want to relax. We had nothing else to do. We were in the Keys away from home. And so we would stay up too late, but we got to sleep in all day too. And that takes a toll. By day 4, you're hurting, and then 5 and 6, and you still got to do it again.
Right.
Yeah, Kristen's voice.
But why do you suppose they do that? Just logistically, because they realize if they can bring a good band from Miami or Tampa, they just keep them there.
It's like a temporary house band kind of situation. You know what I mean? And then they have different acoustics solo guys during the day that week. But when we played Sloppy Joe's down there, we stayed in a band house down there.
Krista told me it wasn't necessarily the cleanest.
It wasn't the cleanest place, and there's no not to piss talk the ownership, but it needed a cleaning, and we actually, David, Kristen, and I stayed in that place together. The bass player at the time, his wife came down. Tim Jones, our guitar player, wanted his own place. He likes his own space. But that's how long ago this was that he was even in the band back then. But the 3 of us stayed in that house, and we said we need to go to Publix. We need to buy some cleaning supplies,
Clorox,
and hit these floors because you come right out of the shower, walk barefoot to the kitchen, and you've got black feet.
Well, you would assume that somebody would clean it up and prepare for the bands to roll in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you would assume that. Maybe put some beer in the fridge for you.
Exactly. They won't die. Just they got a place and a roof over their head.
Right.
Put them up, shut them up, and get them.
So was that a one and done? Like, would you guys go back there?
I would do it again, but I would probably stay somewhere else.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun, and we got to get around and see the place too. Which was really cool. There's a lot of beautiful things to see down there, interesting history, and it was a lot of fun. But traveling, no, we haven't done it yet, but we have plans, things that we're mulling around that we haven't. There's nothing concrete, but we talk a lot about what's next, and there's a lot of, whether that be a side project, whether it be something we change this one, we don't know yet, but we're talking.
Are you guys still going out to Orlando area or Lakeland area?
We haven't been to Lakeland in a while, and we did venture into Daytona finally last year,
Cool.
and it worked out pretty well for Bike Week and stuff like that.
But Bike Week's coming up. This year's Bike Week is coming up soon.
Yeah, we did. The thing is out there, we were just a little outside of where they do Bike Week. We were like in Port Orange, and it worked out really well. And each time we went, we saw a couple more friendly faces. A couple of our T-shirts were floating around for a change for hitting a brand new town for us. That was really cool to see.
I bet.
But it was logistically so hard to get there. And
then you got to get housing.
It was it's a nightmare. For me, believe it or not, I'm so far north of where the rest of the band lives. A lot of them, several of the band members live in Bradenton area. Rob lives in Clearwater. I live north of Tampa by like 30 miles, but also inland. So I'm a hell of a lot closer to Daytona.
And is that where your family is, and that's where you were born and raised?
I was born in Miami, raised in Dade City. Dade City is the name of the town.
So you have no interest in leaving there. You're content living there.
I'd like to move eventually. I mean, it was a small little country town, and it had its charm, but just like anything else, the way Sarasota and Bradenton is just overrun with people. God bless them, but there's how traffic is down here. It's
I was bitching all day today.
It's insane, man. And in a town like Dade City where the roads can't accommodate that many people, right, but they're moving in anyways.
Yeah.
It's a real sumbitch.
Well, the problem that we have is that Sarasota keeps getting written up as one of the best beaches in the country.
Yeah.
And
like Lido Beach or whatever. Right?
One of the best places to live. So everybody wants to come down. So what happens is they all go to the beach at the same time. And it's just basically the South Bridge is basically just, one lane going this way and one lane going that way. And it's bumper to bumper. So as like people that live here, we laugh. We're like, I would never go to the beach. Like you can even pay me to go to the beach this time of year. Cause I'm like, why would I do that?
You're right. Exactly. Yeah. It's tough, man. I mean, just driving around it, you have to plan ahead to get to these gigs now. And, if it's a 45-minute drive, you better give yourself an hour and a half because there's always a wreck. There's just always something that just ruins your plan of getting somewhere where you want to and stuff like that. But it makes for a lot of fans at the venues too.
Well, you mentioned something earlier. Like I know when I see people wearing jacked up shirts, I love it.
It's cool.
And the cool thing is too, a lot of now there are people that I have no idea who they are. Like in the beginning, it was my family, my friends, fans of fans, and I kind of knew people. Now it's like complete strangers are wearing them, and like that's kind of cool, right?
It is the coolest thing ever to look out and you've said hello to the person probably, but it's hard to remember everybody at first until you really get to know them. But you'll see them in a T-shirt, and there'll be 40 or 50 of them out there, and that's like, man, that's how cool.
What's your process on a break? Do you try to go out and see people and shake hands, or like you just run to the bathroom, get your drink, come back to the stage? Or are you trying to mingle and be engaging?
We're a little a bit in the beginning where we kind of maintain some backstage privacy, and then we'll come out and do our show, and then we will mingle around in between sets. We do 2 sets a night usually. It's very rare for us to do 3 sets anymore. They're both an hour and a half long, maybe a 20 or 30
So
minute
wait a minute.
break.
So you're up 90 minutes.
90 minutes, take a 20 to 30 minute break, do another 90.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because most bands are usually 75, 30 and 75, wherever the math works out.
I mean, when we were playing Gator Club down here.
2 in the morning.
You know what I mean? You have to take a break, and then you'll do your second set, you go on break, and by the time you're back, there's only the diehards that are absolutely sauced are left. You know what I mean? So, and God love them, but you know what I mean? At least somebody's still there at that hour. It's pretty late.
My first priority is to go into the bathroom. Yeah. Because I have to do that, because the last thing I want to do is not do it, then have to go back on and realize I still have to go to the bathroom.
Exactly.
So I just go, whoever's like trying to talk to me, I'm like, excuse me, I'll be right back.
Yeah, right.
I go to the bathroom. Yeah. Then usually on the way back, I'll grab some water or something.
Exactly.
Now I can hang and talk to people and be that guy. Because,
right. Yeah. So that's pretty much status quo for all of us too. Same deal.
Now, does your wife come to all the shows, or what's that?
She comes to a lot of them. A lot of times I'll be coming from the Newport Richey area for, my day is spent there, and then I'll come straight to a show on a Friday night. So if I'm doing that, she probably doesn't, there's no need for her to drive an hour and a half one way to just, she can't have any fun. If she does, she can't drink and then have to drive back.
Right.
I wouldn't want to do
She's seen you so many times. She's probably like, I'll take a pass this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. But she's so supportive of it, and she would be, in a heartbeat to a lot of them. for example, Thursday we're opening for Tiffany. By the way,
let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So everybody that's listening knows who Tiffany is and knows that she was a pop sensation.
Yeah.
And she came out around the MTV time, so like she got a lot of play on the MTV.
85.
So now she's touring.
Touring again,
and she's coming to smaller venues like Big Top.
Yeah.
How many people you think they can fit in there?
I have never
1,000?
asked what their capacity is. 1,000, I would think, is a reasonable guess. I could be off by 500 people. I don't know, but it looks like it would hold every bit of 1,000 to me, 1,500 if they're shoulder to shoulder.
It's bigger than people think it is. I mean, there's a lot of space there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you're going to open up for Tiffany
on third. By the time this airs, we'll probably not. It'll be a little too late to plug it, but yeah, absolutely. How cool is that?
How long are you going to play for?
I'm not sure. Probably an hour to an hour and a half, and I think it starts around 7 o'clock.
Yeah, because you got to think that maybe she doesn't have that much material. I mean, like Blue Oyster Cult, I thought they were going to play a lot longer than they did. But they're like, hey, we're doing this set and that's it.
Yeah.
So they made us play 90 minutes, which usually a warm-up band will only play 30 to 60.
Right. Well, if you had told me when Tiffany came out, she was in her teens. I think her dad helped finance the album and all this stuff.
The cover song she did.
Yeah, I think We're Alone Now went number one like in 87.
Huge.
In 1987, I would have been like 13 or 14 years old, a little bit of a crush on Tiffany.
Sure.
You know what I mean? If you had walked in the room at that time, my bedroom were her records, along with a lot of other records that I was into as a teenage kid, just learning about girls and all this other stuff that, when you're 52, you're going to be doing a show with her. I would have told you you're freaking crazy.
So what are you going to say to her when you have a chance to talk to her? You'd be like, listen.
Well, I definitely want a picture.
Your poster was on my wall for many, many years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. There's just so many things you could say to her, but it's so cool. She's not much older than me. I think she was, I think we were about the same age. I mean, she came out so young, and that was about the time that.
Yeah. Thursday night, I have no plans. Maybe I'll swing by and check it out.
That'd be great to see you there, man.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So what are some other people you've opened up for? Some other bands that you guys have?
We opened up for another national act back in the day. You've of course heard Jefferson's Airplane, which became Jefferson Starship.
You opened up for Jefferson Starship?
Well, they became
Sarah.
Yeah, all that.
That's good stuff.
And Jefferson Starship ended up becoming Starship, featuring Mickey Thomas, one of the original members.
Mickey Thomas, great singer.
Great singer.
Did he sing with Elvin Bishop a long time ago?
Yes, he did. I fooled around and fell. Yeah, he did that song, and I didn't even know he did that until we opened for him.
Neither did I.
You got to stay for the national act and watch him play.
You must have been a kid because that song is kind of old.
Oh yeah, it is. But they did a thing up in Pasco County. On a big stage out there with some kind of a festival type thing or some kind of I don't remember what the thing was that brought him in, but we got we had the fortune of opening for him, which was really cool. Being a cover band, I mean, how many cover bands get to open for a national act?
So I opened up for Blue Oyster Cult, and that was a childhood fantasy.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's really cool. To do it again on Thursday for Tiffany is super cool. So looking forward to it. Yeah.
Now, you guys also play Stottlemeyer's on a Thursday, which I find, because you're a Saturday night band. So when I find out you're playing a place like Stottlemeyer's on a Thursday, nothing against Stottlemeyer's. I love Stottlemeyer's. I think their food is fantastic.
Yeah. And
we love to play there. But I say 22-1 on a Thursday. I'm like, are there people got it going out on a Thursday?
Yeah. And especially during season when, all the Northerners are down or whatnot.
Well, season's a different story.
Yeah, it's a different story. But no, we were able to justify doing that on a Thursday. It helped the venue make a little money, and we were able to play on another day and free up dates other places.
But sometimes you'll go 4 days in a row. Like I've seen you guys have a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. We're doing tomorrow. We're doing a private event over in Lakewood Ranch at the Esplanade.
Nice place.
Yeah, we're doing Tiffany Thursday. Friday, we're doing Inglewood Seafood Festival.
Nice.
And I think we're off this weekend for a very rare weekend off.
Take the wife to dinner.
Right, exactly. But last week we did like almost 4 in a row. I mean, I think we did. I don't know. We play so much now.
You guys are so busy, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You guys really, really get a lot of work.
Yeah,
and because you're in such demand. Everybody loves to see you guys.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. It's a great thing.
So for people that are watching this show right now that haven't seen the band yet, how could they find out where you're playing? Like, where would they go to learn about you guys?
Okay. Well, we've got our Instagram is 22inrocks, and then we have a website 22inrocks.com. And then when I discuss Facebook, that comes with a 30-second explanation. Actually, our original page used to also be 22 in Rocks on Facebook, and in fact, that page had developed a following of like 18,000 followers. It took time to get there.
One of them.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh that's awesome. It took time to get there, but we eventually, I don't know how it happened, but that page ended up hacked. And which was really, really disappointing because it took a long time to get, that much, exposure. Every time you post something, there's a lot of people seeing it. We did everything we could with admin with Facebook. We reached out. We followed every protocol. And I don't want to badmouth anybody, but really the business side of the Facebook thing, the people that run it just did absolutely zero follow-up in trying to help us rectify that situation, get the page back. So
you had to start over from scratch.
We had to start over from scratch. Yeah, and it's growing again.
Yeah.
But that was a
So now what are you, 22 Ultimate Party Band?
Yeah, if you want to find us on Facebook, it is 22 in Band. So that's always an awkward moment for Kristen to say on stage because it's 22 in Rocks, 22 in Rocks, and then on Facebook it's 22 in Band.
Tell our listeners about the actual name 22 in, what that means.
22 in is in Polk County, where David founded the band with the original bass player. He and his buddy Jeff Huffstetler started the band in Lakeland, and they started playing there, and they were in an HOA community, and they liked their sleep at night, and David and Jeff liked to play music at night. It got a little loud, and police were called. And in Polk County, 22 in is the police code that is called out by dispatch to cover the infraction of noise disturbance.
It's a great
yeah, it's
great
cool.
Name.
A lot of people.
We got a 22 in.
We got a 22 in.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's where that came from. A lot of people mistake it for 22 North, which we correct them. It's all fun. It doesn't really matter.
No, I'm pretty sure. Like she usually says something at every.
Yeah,
show.
she does.
She'll explain quickly what it means.
Yeah.
But
it's appropriate. It kind of we like to play loud. So is that okay with you? And of course you get the rise up of the crowd and everything. So explaining the name of the band actually yields some really cool crowd response too. It's fun to engage with them and stuff. When we're just talking and exchanging banter and whatnot.
So do you get out to see other bands? Like I know you have a Saturday night off, but do you try to see other bands, or you try to catch up? Maybe go see a concert. Like let's say some Joe Bonamassa is coming to town. Yeah. Like how do you what do you do for that?
Well, I don't as much because of the distance that I drive to get to all of our shows. Like I say, I think I drive the farthest.
How far are you from downtown Tampa?
From downtown Tampa, I'm about 35 minutes.
All right, so that's not bad.
Not bad, but everything that, all the bands, but David and Kristen, they are huge supporters of local entertainment bands. They go out when we are not playing, they are out somewhere supporting a band.
Well, I'm going to have to ask them both
Absolutely.
to come see Clancy's to see my new singer.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I would love.
Don't you love it when other musicians are in the audience?
It's cool.
I absolutely. Well, sometimes I do get nervous. For an example, sometimes I'm like, oh shit, I can't mess up now because so and so's staring at me right now. Like some really good bass player.
Yeah,
I'm like he's realizing I'm playing the wrong notes.
Exactly.
But the crowd doesn't know.
Yeah,
but he knows.
And there's always going to be a few haters out there too that are like, I don't see what all the hubbub's about. You know what I mean?
We got
22 in my ass. But anyways, but no. Yeah, I like when they're there too. In fact, I step my game up a little bit. You know what I mean? You can get a little complacent. You do these shows a lot, and you start to, you know what I mean? They're always
you like the hot dog a little bit, ham it up a little bit.
I enjoy it. I kind of do it just to get people into it. If they're not into it, I'm kind of like the band cheerleader. I think.
But I noticed that you're good at that position because you got the mic, going this way, and you'll be able to go out there. You're like, come on, let's go.
I'm a little high strung that way.
You're what's the word I want to say? You're theatrical in that sense.
I'm theatrical and just really enthusiastic, and I feed off of that too. So it's kind of selfish in a way, to be honest. If they're cheering, I play better. I agree with that. I have a lot more fun.
Without a doubt.
So I try to do what I can. Everybody does in the band, but I think it's safe to say they would say the same thing, that I'm probably the biggest cheerleader on the stage. As far as riling the crowd up, come on, and I'm always so proud of everybody I'm playing with. I probably do it too much for the production managers liking, but I'm like, give it up for Robbie, everybody. Look, how about that, or Gary on the bass, or Kristen.
Well, you're genuine, and you're genuine.
Yeah,
because you love your bandmates. I love
them.
They're brothers and sisters.
I love them.
Yeah.
I love them so much, and it's so great to share music with them. Another thing that's really cool about this particular lineup that's a little different from the previous lineups is everybody sings. Every single one of us sing.
That's important.
And I'm a huge nerd when it comes to vocal harmonies.
As you should be.
I just, when a band like the Eagles or, anybody that can sing well.
Bridges Road.
Oh my God. When people are doing that and it sounds really good, we're not like that.
I know, but that's why you're the premier cover band, because you guys rehearse it, you practice it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know where to be.
Right.
Right.
But it's the coolest thing is to be singing harmony to something Kristen's singing. She's singing lead, the chorus comes up. I come in with the harmony. In the past, it was just me. Maybe David would sing some of it too. He sings. He's got a headset.
Okay.
And he's singing all those songs along with us. But you look across the stage, and we set up 4 in the front, you know what I mean, from stage left to stage right. And that gives us more room for some of the lights and screens behind David in the back of the screen. And plus, we can all engage better that way. Some bands traditionally have the keyboardist back some.
So you're typically would be on David's right, correct?
I'm on his right, stage right.
Yeah.
So we're lined up in the front, and because of the headset, I don't have to stay right on the microphone. And I can look across when we're singing a chorus, and every single person on the stage with me is singing at the same time, all 5 of us. And that's the first time that's happened of the different lineups that have changed, that have come through. We've evolved a lot. But
was there a lot of practice to go into that? Like, for example, maybe not so much now because it's a machine, like you mentioned earlier, but like, don't you have to seriously have a practice dedicated to harmonies?
We talk about doing that, and we have dedicated at some recent rehearsals. We did dedicate about 30 minutes to something like that, but we don't get to practice as much as we want to. Neither as much as we should. So we don't dedicate a whole lot of time to it. We try to get it done quick, and then because there's so much to fit in a small window of time.
You ever do a song live for the very first time? Like, you all did your homework and you do it live and like without prior rehearsal?
I'm trying to recall the song that we did do that. And we don't do it often, but we have done it, and it went okay. And one we just did recently, I Love Rock and Roll. I mean, everybody, Joan Jett. I mean, you gotta. So but we didn't do a whole lot of that kind of music. I mean, we do a lot of dance music. We do rock. We do country. We do all that stuff. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, man. Bruno Mars.
Yeah, and
What's that song when you go do do do?
Uptown Funk.
You do that song really well, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's kind of the vocal thing is down there in the bottom where we do all that stuff. And
well, that leads to my next question. What do you enjoy singing? Like, what are some of your favorite songs to sing?
The ones that I do sing.
Like, you get off on them because, like, did you pick it that way? Like, were you thrown the song and said you're singing it, or did you pick those songs?
The songs that I sing, I picked most of them. The songs that I sing right now, American Girl, I sing Summer of '69, which was a childhood dream of mine. I used to, when I was listening, if I wasn't listening to Tiffany or some of the older Queensryche stuff, Phil Collins, Genesis was my first. Invisible Touch Tour was my first concert I ever went to. I was in the 8th grade.
Genesis is great,
Yeah, I was in the 8th grade. But I had the Reckless album from Brian Allen on vinyl, and I listened to that album so much. Summer '69, I thought to myself, I want to grow up one day and sing that.
Did you hear the newest version of Cuts Like a Knife? He did a video when they're all they're in a circle and they're in an arena and there's no crowd there, and they shot a video, Cuts Like a Knife.
Yeah,
you got to hear it because
I bet it's
once you hear it, you're going to want to cover it.
Oh yeah,
the problem is his voice is not easy to reproduce.
Oh no, he's real raspy, breathy, I should say, and he sings high as hell. I struggle on when I'm tired and we've done 3 shows in a row and a seafood festival comes up on a Sunday, and I have to sing those high notes in Summer of '69. It's tough. Do
you have the ability to do an audible? Like, can you say, I can't do that one, let's pass it, let's skip it?
I just have an alternate way of singing, and if I can't hit the note that I need to hit, I'll sing.
So you're gonna do that song regardless of how you feel.
We're doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. I'll just sing a fifth down for that particular note or whatever. I find I have a good feel for that.
I've waved off songs before that I've been like, perhaps I'm like, you know what? I don't think I really know this. It's brand new.
Yeah.
Let's like not do it.
I think that may have happened a couple of times for us too. A lot of times when we wave off a song, it's probably just because either the crowd is just different than we anticipated.
Right.
They're wanting this. We gave them this other direction. That really sparked them up. let's do more of that.
For an example, let's say you're doing your country and all of a sudden the place goes hog wild.
Yeah.
You might then say, let's continue to do some more country songs instead of hitting them with
exactly.
mellow belly bumper.
Right, exactly. That's another one that I added. We added that for me to sing is that Post Malone song, I Had Some Help. And that one, people have had to get used to that because we have an older crowd a lot of times.
What would you say your demographic is? Like, I can tell you right now, looking at my algorithms, women 50 to 54 is our strongest demographic.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right? But
I would say the very same thing, maybe even older. Definitely starting at 50 would be one of the, I mean, there's some young bucks there. But the women and their husbands, 50 to 65, I would say.
So knowing this, do you cater your set list? I mean, like, for an example, the great solution would have been more classic rock. Like, I find that when we play classic rock, even if it's like All Right Now or crap,
right,
the people go crazy. But meanwhile, I'm like, we got all this other stuff that we want to do, but they're getting off on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sometimes we've done some of these HOA gigs lately. Our private event tomorrow is one of those. They bring in people to their clubhouses.
So these people are 60 plus.
Yeah, some of them are. And so in that situation, it's not unheard of for me to break out Piano Man. I put the harmonica on.
They must love that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that it's not necessarily something 22N does, but it's appropriate. It would work, and they seem to be, they're getting a little liquored up and they want to sing.
Sure.
Perfect time to throw it out there. You know what I mean? So we do that, stuff like that. So yeah, age appropriate. We try to do. If it's a heavier place, the rock music comes out. You know what I mean? So
in our final minutes, man, let's tell the audience a little bit about what you do personally. Like, what are some of your hobbies, your interests? What are some of your favorite restaurants to hit? Like, what are your favorite foods? Are you a backyard barbecue grill guy?
I am absolutely a barbecuing, pork smoking dude. I know that sounds a little funny to some people, but yeah, I have a big smoker that I built. I taught myself to weld so that I could have this smoker.
Very cool.
But what I do when I'm not doing music is fish. I am a saltwater Florida salt life guy like you cannot believe. I've got 2 boats, little humble boats, but a nice little bay boat and a smaller one for getting up into little freshwater rivers and stuff like that.
That's very cool. Is that something you've been doing all your life, fishing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's, if I lost my hands tomorrow, I would duct tape a fishing rod to my nubs and fish. I wouldn't be able to play music anymore, which would suck. But
so would you consider yourself to be more of a homebody when you're not performing, or do you like to go out and hit the latest?
I am a homebody.
Yeah.
I like doing things around the yard, fixing up the place, and just projects that I'm not able to get to because the band is so damn busy. So
is it peaceful and quiet where you live? So like you can go to bed early and not
I'm in a historic district of Dade City, which is it's been built up and developed 50 years ago. Your grandparents lived in this house or whatever. Mine is a newer one. There were little orange groves still available in town in Dade City at that time. And at one time, the family next to me that's had their family property for years, they sold that orange grove. They built a house on it in the 90s, and I bought that place. But I am 6 blocks from downtown Dade City, which is a quaint little quiet town. We have the Kumquat Festival.
So could you walk downtown and get like groceries?
Groceries, not so much, but you can go downtown and get a beer at a nice little brewery.
That's cool,
and
man.
hear some acoustic music.
So you're away from the hustle and bustle of downtown Sarasota.
Yeah, way away from the hustle and bustle. Yeah. But all of our cow pastures out there are starting to, the roads are being cut through them now, and it's starting to get developed.
J.J. Gray and Mofro, they wrote a song called Loch Loosa.
Yeah.
It's about development that's coming. They don't want it, but it's coming. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everyone's moving to Florida.
It's happening, yeah.
Do you have a dog? Are you a dog guy?
I'm a cat guy. I had dogs growing up. I love them. But my wife and I are a little nutty when it comes to saving an animal that needs it. And it just seems that these kittens that weren't even weaned yet have found us somehow and just could not find a home for it. We just took it in. We had to bottle feed these things.
So how many do you have?
Well, this is going to, freak everybody out. I have I have 5 indoor cats, and we have rescued 5 outdoor cats that hang out on the
That's
porch.
great,
They
man.
come and go.
That just shows you have a huge heart, man.
I've got 5 chickens that they lay eggs.
Okay.
So I'm still a country boy.
So the bottom line is you're not paying for your eggs directly. You're paying
no,
for
we're not buying eggs. We haven't bought eggs
right.
in a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
But you still got to feed those things. And,
yeah, exactly. I'm buying corn and layer feed, but exactly, and cat food by the, I just dump it in a big igloo cooler and we just scoop out of it now.
Well, I'm sure you don't have a mice problem with all those cats around.
None.
Yeah.
There are no rats or mice on my property, that's for sure. And the chickens keep the weeds down on the fence line. So
fantastic.
Yeah, man.
Well, Michael, listen, thanks for coming in, man.
Man, thank you for having me.
It's been a great hour. The hour went by really fast.
It did. I had a great time. I looked forward to this so much. And I got to say to you, you are doing such a great job doing this, man.
Well, thank you.
Just such kudos. Everybody tells you that comes in here. They're not lying.
I enjoy it, man.
Yeah.
And you know what my job is to get you talking, and you're a great talker.
Yeah.
And to let the viewers know who you are. And I think you did a great job today, man.
Thank you very much, and just keep it up, and good luck to you with your new singer, man. I look forward to seeing you guys. Yeah,
I'm sure we'll be at the same festival, and then you'll be able to stick around and watch.
Oh, hell yeah! I look forward to it, man.
All right,
Thank
brother.
you so much.
Thank you.
All right, peace.